Good morning and welcome to another edition of The Aftermath on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. This is where we cover off on the highlights and lowlights of racing and sport over the past 24 hours. If you missed any of the action on Saturday, we will have every angle covered. Keep the dial locked on Tab Radio Racing and Sport for another action-packed edition of The Aftermath.
Yes, welcome along. It is The Aftermath. Marty Young, David Shortte. There's an old saying, Shorty, no news is good news, and that's what we're operating with today. How are you?
I'm well, thank you, Marty.
Did you get through the Gestapo checkpoint up the front there?
Only just. So just to fill our listeners in, there's a running marathon or running event going on through the streets of Perth. And
fantastic.
We generally just cruise straight through, but there's some pretty
officious,
pretty keen people that do like having the jacket on a Sunday morning and letting people know how to operate. So
but David, you were number 3. Mickey was I was number 1. How long do you reckon I was there for?
Well, at least your car's somewhere near. I've actually...
They wouldn't let you in?
No, please. Oh, no. But once this gets up and running, there's going to be there'll be a lot going on. I think you best just find yourself a spot somewhere downtown. Joongle up and wander your way in from there, young man. No problem at all. We're here to please. We're here to help. So I don't like to upset people, especially first thing on a Sunday. Most important thing is, Marty, we're here and ready to fire. And speaking of being there and ready to fire, first day back there yesterday at Ascot, and didn't the punters love it? They were absolutely jammed in. They were there for a good afternoon. There was top quality racing. That, of course, dovetailed off what was a magnificent afternoon of racing there yesterday at Caulfield. Just the sport has just a small sort of pause at this stage of the year where it's time for racing to just take centre stage, and that was certainly the case yesterday.
Yeah, we're here from Morley Mitsubishi 2 today. Grant Lillyman, all the team there. Here's the DP. They've got the Triton 4x2 33,990 drive away today, and the GLX 4x4 dual cab 45,990, 212 Walter Road Morley. Hop on morleymitsubishi.com.au. I'd love to see the turnover figures from yesterday at Ascot, both on and off. I've just got a feeling people flocked back to Ascot on and off the course to bet into these races, and they weren't let down. No. There's more black bookers there than Reggie Arthur had in his whole 95 years on this planet.
That's saying something, because it was a pretty active little book, that one. I can tell you, having chatted to his grandson Zane over the years, he's still deep into the back end of proceedings. Reggie didn't go lonely too often, so that is saying something. And look, I think the beautiful part about it is too, no knock on Belmont, but I think both punters, the horses and the track, by the end of a really long, wet winter, were just ready for a change-up, and it's something a little bit fresh, and yesterday Ascot certainly provided that.
This weather update on The Aftermath is brought to you by Tab Touch.
Let's get a look around this beautiful state today, and there's some pretty nice gear here. Broome 33, cloud clearing. Karratha 39 and sunny. Port Hedland 39, lots of sunshine. Carnarvon 27, those bananas are just giggling. 27 and sunny, give me more of that. Geraldton 25 and sunny. Northern 28, sunny. Kalgoorlie 29, lots of sunshine. Mandurah 22 and sunny. Pinjarra 23 and sunny. Bunbury 21 the top there, mostly sunny. Albany, 21 with a possible shower. Here in the metro area today, what about this for a glorious day in store? 25 degrees, sunny. There's a 5% chance of rain. I'd say that's closer to 0. It's currently 9.2 degrees.
I just drifted off. How's it looking for Geraldton today, for Ladies' Day up there?
25 and sunny, Marty.
They'll just jam the joint in.
Picture perfect up there on the Crayfish Coast.
What about our man Damien Lane yesterday? Chris Waller, when they get a Guineas in front of them, don't they just know how to do it?
Oh, yes, they certainly do. To be fair, he hasn't barely not been in rare form in recent times, Damien Lane, but it's just great when these carnivals are on now. He just takes his game to a whole new level, and yesterday that was certainly the case. He just kept, throughout the course of the day, once he got his eye in early, you knew it was an ominous sign, and he just continued to front up and deliver the goods in the big races, produce some great rides. And I know yesterday locally here at Ascot there were some very, very big performances, but that was certainly the case yesterday as well across there at Caulfield. And I've always had a real soft spot for Giga Kick, and it was so nice to see this horse return returned to the winners list yesterday in the Group 2 Scalacci Stakes. Clayton Douglas, every time I hear him speak, he's just such a humble young man.
Yes.
He's always so grateful that you've given him the opportunity to appear on your show. Mm-hmm. It should probably be the other way around, in fairness, where we're just really happy that trainers and jockeys and industry people give us their time. But it seems like it's almost the other way around, that he's just really grateful that you've taken an interest in what he does. So to see him front up and get results like that yesterday with Giga Kick, I think is a great result for a very humble and hard-working man.
We're still trying to get him on the show today. Charlotte Littlefield or Clayton.
It was great for Charlotte too. Yeah, great way to finish the day.
7:20 mark. So, Shorty, we will have Troy Corstens on at about 6:15 because Zoo Sensation winning, and then straight after the race he said, well, we're heading for the Gold Rush. So that's a great bit of news there for Perth Racing, and so we'll have Troy on. Great win. Dropping back from Group 1 company versus a horse, King Zephyr, at about $1.40, $1.50 that was jumping up from a benchmark 84. It's the old rule, isn't it, Shorty? You've got to have those horses dropping back in class. So Troy Corstens, the normal, Chris Nelson, then Racetrack Ralphy. He's got all of the information, all the data through, so that'll be fantastic with Ralphy. We'll give him plenty of time. After 7 will be Brad Hardie. We're still trying to get hold of either, as I said, Charlotte or Clayton.
It'd be great to get Charlotte as either or, really. That great chat. Charlotte, of course, who throughout the course of the afternoon, you would have heard her yesterday here on TAB Radio, part of that coverage, covering the big meeting there yesterday, and then for her to have to sit and wait all day for her horse to appear in that last race and then come out and the stable stars got the job done. It was a sense of relief listening in, Marty, to the post-race comments, but the entire commentary team and everyone around it knew exactly what it meant for Charlotte to get the job done in that final race there yesterday, and when it eventually did sort of go her way, and the right result was there in the last race yesterday with She's Bulletproof. You could just hear the joy in her colleagues' voices as they spoke to her post-race.
100%. So after 7:30, Greg Bond, one of our favourites, Minstrel. I love this horse, and it got the money in that very good race on Friday night. So we'll talk to Bondy.
Did Friday night feel like harness racing was back big time? Like just that program, there was some really, really nice horses going around throughout the course of the evening, and that particular race you touched on, where we'll chat to Bondy a bit later, but Minstrel, he's a sport, Mr. Smarty, like you look, that's the top end of talent we've got here in WA. So to see all of them going around in that race, I thought that was an absolute bottler there on Friday night. And speaking of trots, last night
I've got it here.
Oh my goodness, I thought the world was about to end.
Let's have a listen to this.
He pins a clear second, a clear third, Bulletproof Boy, and they get away from the others. End of the straight, Leap to Fame, 4 metres to Mickey Pins. Then came Bulletproof Boy. Has to be shaken up, Leap to Fame. Bulletproof Boy is running a big race. Australia's best versus Victoria's most famous gets close. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? I said it with courage under fire, but has the world ended? Bulletproof Boy, I think, snapped Leap to Fame. Who can believe it?
Yeah, there it is. It happened. James Herbertson, no stopping him. $51 Bulletproof Boy. Leap to Fame was $1.01.
My goodness, that was quite the boil over in the smoking up sprint there last night at Melton. And it's not too often Lenny has the colours lowered. And to be fair, it wasn't like he was humbled or embarrassed given the margin. But yeah, when you go around $1.04 and you have the winning record that Leap to Fame's put together, it's fair to say that was a turn up for the books.
Watching it, the third quarter, 27-3, and I thought, well, that'll break him. And Mickey Pins, who was in third, who was leader's back, just hadn't dropped off. I said, what's going on here? And then the little horse, Bulletproof, who was free back the fence, just pulled off around the outside, and I thought, no, it couldn't. Surely not. Surely not.
He's
only a small horse, isn't he?
Yeah.
Looks a small horse, Bulletproof Boy.
Absolutely.
Just out-sprinted him onto the line.
Good campaigner having the 215th start there last night, Bulletproof Boy. And Lenny, look, we can put it down, I think, to just an off night. Look, they're not robots, and he don't get off. He doesn't get rolled too often. Leap of Fame. So, can you imagine how many?
Just a multi-packer.
Oh, my goodness. Never mind paying out on the 50-1 pop. There wouldn't have been too many of those tickets, but just as you just alluded to, so many people just throw that in for a little bit of icing on the cake. And to be fair, at 57 of the 70 starts prior, there had been icing on the cake with Leap to Fame, but not last night. And I guess it's a reminder that sometimes you do get the occasional result. And it's good for racing from time to time to see it, because otherwise everybody would back the same horse at $1 and there'd be not much to be made out of the caper. So away we go.
After a huge weekend of racing and sport, we can all do with a Sunday saviour to round out the punting weekend in winning style. The Tab Touch Sunday Saviour is here to sweeten your Sunday on the punt. It's over to the boys to provide this week's edition of Tab Touch Sunday Saviour.
Get involved, punters, on the Retrovision text line on this Sunday morning, 0427 789 571. Send through your Sunday Saviour. It needs to be a multi, somewhere between 2 and 4 legs. The most successful of those multis will find themselves walking away with a $100 voucher, courtesy of those fine people at a Tab Touch. You've got until 9 o'clock to get your entries in this morning. Good luck to everybody getting involved with the Sunday Saviour for today.
Better fire that Retrovision text line up as well. That's very quiet. 0427 789 571. Hop on the line. Give us a text this morning, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about here. You text, we'll get you on. That is our pledge throughout the next couple of hours. And then a Racing Rewind will be Lockie Taylor and Matty French. Richie Bell are laid out, so the little redhead's in. Matty French, he was looking after Leonora yesterday as well.
Okay.
I see on the coverage on 7+.
Oui, the Frenchman this morning. He was a busy day there yesterday for all concerned, and I note that Richie was calling Cannington last night, so he's had a very busy day there yesterday.
He hasn't backed up.
No. He was in good form. Seeing them well there last night, Rich.
What about this one, Shorty? Nottingham Forest will consider Sean Dyche as a replacement for Ange Postecoglou should they decide to part with their under-pressure head coach.
Jeez, he's barely even put the new team kit on yet, has he? I don't even know whether or not the uniforms arrived at his house yet for the new team.
7-match winless start of the Aussies' reign. The 6-year-old remains in charge of Forest, but last Sunday's 2-0 loss to your boys Newcastle, which was viewed internally as a pivotal game in determining his futures, placed the former Tottenham boss's position in future doubt.
Oh, you must be joking. Got to give the guy a little bit of time to get up and running. Like any time you move in, I don't know, there's pressure in this league and all of those different things, but gee whiz, give the man 3 months to get settled, understand the team he's working with. Yep. They all need to get to know each other. This would be one of the greatest knee-jerk reactions in the history of management if they were to pull the trigger on this quickly.
It was always a tricky one because Nuno Espirito Santo, who was the previous manager, was doing a good job, and the players liked him. He fell out of love with the manager, and the owner, and the owner fell out of love with him, and so he's got to somehow get those players back wanting to play for him.
And that's a rare thing for him because generally everywhere he's coached, he's been the man, and they've loved playing for him. So it's a unique situation. It's an awful situation, to be honest, because they haven't had any results go their way. They're yet to grab a full win. They've only drawn a couple of games. It's got to be difficult for him to be able to have any impact in that in such a short space of time. They haven't had time, and particularly given how many games they play and how quickly they come. By the time you finish one game and had a bit of rehab, the next game's on. There's not much time to work on your game style and how you'd like the game to be played and the like. So he really has had almost no chance to really put his stamp on this playing group and how he'd like them to play and what he'd like the roster to look like. You're literally just inheriting a machine that's already up and running. So in that regard, I can't help but feel for Ange. Financially, it's not the chat that we need to have because he's got plenty, and if he was to be shown the door, I'm sure there'd be plenty on the check on the way out. But more for him, he deserves better than this. He's earned the right to actually sit down, formulate a squad of players that he'd like to have, the game style he'd like to play with them, and be given a 12-month, 24-month period to actually let it happen.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't. He hasn't in this instance.
He's got a very good relationship with the owner. They're both Greek, and maybe that partnership will see him through this difficult period and set him up for the future. Sam sent one in off that text line. Morning, boys. It'll be interesting to hear what Ralphie has to say in regards to the might and power yesterday. On first view, it feels like McDonald and Lane didn't learn their lesson from the Mackay Diva a few weeks ago. Well, it was just a Blake Shin masterclass, wasn't it? He went out and set a decent pace early, to my eye, without looking at any data from Vince Accardi, and as you said, Ralphie will have that. But then he just was able to put the anchors up after they went up the hill and was coming down the other side. And from there, he got them off the bit. Then he sprinted and they just couldn't catch him.
Marty, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the country and western singer Bonnie Raitt.
Bonnie Raitt.
Yes. Look her up.
Yeah.
Because Blake Shin is on very good terms with her, clearly, because what he did was get this horse to the front and just rate. He absolutely pulled their pants down once he got to the spot that he wanted to be in. And I thought Mick Price was a bit of humour in the build-up to this particular race, because they asked him about the race and he took all the pressure off everybody in the entire setup from his camp when he said, well, look, have a look, Buckaroo, Treasure, the moment, they're better horses than my bloke. He's just going to be there, and let's be honest, they're going to smoke the pipe, sit the camp on him, and they'll be too good late. But, it's a really nice trial for my horse to go around for whatever third prize money was. And I thought to myself, what a beautiful way to go into a race. He's just absolved themselves of any result or outcome and said to Blake, you do what you want to do. Over to you now. Off the horse goes, gets the big win that it's been looking for. You could hear post-race, the connections went bananas.
Oh, they were good. It was great scenes.
Our listener, though, to be fair, I think has got a point.
Yep.
There maybe needed to be a little bit more initiative shown to serve it up to Globe to beat the horse on the day.
Now, the race before that was the Weekend Hustlers, taken out in brilliant fashion by Zoo Sensation, another very good front-running ride from Benny Allen. Let's have a listen to the closing stages.
Shadow, Zoo Sensation under a hold into the straight, 300 metres to go. Allen now stokes it up, 3 lengths amenable. King's Effort to the outsiders, winding up, then another Profit. Zoo Sensation had a decent buffer at the 150, still 3 lengths to King's Effort. Zoo Sensation looking to steal it at the 100, 2 lengths in front, and will. Zoo Sensation has won it by a length, King's Effort, third Benadryl.
There it is, and trainer is Troy Corstens, part of the training team. He joins us right now. G'day, Troy, and congratulations, Marty Young and David Shortte over here in the West.
Hey, Marty. Hey, Shorty. How are we?
Going really well. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate you picking up the phone and have a chat to us on this Sunday morning. As Marty alluded to, that was a really nice win. Taking on some high-quality opposition there. King's Effort had been flying of late, but I thought Benny Allen was excellent. Stole the advantage, up on top of the speed, and as we heard from Matt Hill just saying, nicked the race, stole that break, and it was off and gone.
I was a little bit worried having to give King's Effort so much weight, but I thought that our advantage was going to be if we were forward, because there's a horse that rolls. Then when Rhinoceros tried to take us on a little bit, I got a little bit worried again, but Benny got him to settle, and I knew he'd have the powerful finish once he did that.
Lovely bit of training, I thought, dropping the horse back from the Group 1, the Rupert Clark. You just gave him a little tick-over trial at Flemington in between.
Yeah, he is a horse that requires. He's a big, gross horse, and he gets fat on you really quickly. So we do need to serve the work up to him. He's also a horse that's had a throat operation over here, so we like to keep him nice and fit.
Geez, he just has put together a big campaign. How many runs this campaign for him?
We haven't looked yesterday. I think he's been up for close to 300 days now, so. He's done a terrific job. We do utilise our farm very much with him. Tomorrow morning he'll go straight up to the farm. He'll work in the morning, then he'll go into the paddock all day. He does that for about 4 or 5 days, and then he comes back. Just a good way for him to clear any mucus and any muck that he does get down his throat, because he does have those problems.
Oh, it's great to have access to such a facility to be able to just change things up a little bit for your horse, but also in a scenario like this, it's clearly worth its weight in gold. The horse obviously has really responded to that style of training as well, to be able to stay fit and firing rather than, you touched on the point that the horse can get away from you a little bit, being able to keep the horse fit and well and keep the wheels turning rather than having that break where it can all sort of lump on quite quickly. Sounds like you've really got to the bottom of the horse.
Yeah, we've just changed our model. Since we've had the farm, we've been doing this with a lot of horses, and we just get an extra 4 or 5 runs each preparation out of them. It allows us to just keep them up for that much longer. And as long as they keep racing the way that they are, we're going to keep doing it.
Post-race, you nominated the Gold Rush as his next run. Tell us about your plans there.
Well, I was straight onto the phone to Grant Burns and text him that we're very interested. Probably Winterbottom and a Gold Rush, to be honest.
Okay.
I think both would be good for him to have a crack at. We've had a bit of success over there in the past, and I've got to say I've got a lot of mates in Perth, so I'm probably due for a trip over there.
Well, why wouldn't you? And with his racing pattern, he's won on a good 3 yesterday, so a firmer track's not going to worry him either.
Yeah, spot on. And I just think both races will set up really nicely for him. I think the Winterbottom might be a touch classy for him, but it'll tighten him right up, and he'll be extremely competitive in the Gold Rush.
Just going through his record, his form at 1,200 metres.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. I do think that the 1,400 is ideal for him, but he's competitive over the 1,200.
There's $1.5 million there for Group 3, so it's well worth having a look at, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And he sort of owes the guys nothing. He's won 400,000 this preparation alone, so he's doing a really good job. And let's have a crack at the hospitality, the conditions. The race is so good over there, and more importantly, the people. So we'll be coming over.
Is there potential for maybe a stablemate to jump across and join the horse for the trip?
No, and I know you're talking about Barrakill, but he's out in the paddock at the moment. We'll bring him back and we'll set him for an Oakley plate, a William Reid, and then we might look at a quokka. So
okay,
there's
excellent.
a chance that you guys will get to see him over there, but possibly not till the quokka.
All right, and I want to ask you about a horse that I saw win at Flemington back on the 21st of September. He'll Rip. He hasn't been out since, has he?
Got him in on Wednesday. Just the smallish fields there, he might not get a run, and then he'll run the following Saturday in a stakes race but he's flying at the moment, so he's going really good, so he's a good one to watch.
All right, and tell us about, obviously we're over here, tell us about Caulfield yesterday. It looked like one of those days where that wind really got up sort of mid-meeting, and it sort of started to really suit horses closer to the speed, and the track got quite firm, did it?
It did. It went to a 3. We're absolutely getting no rain in Victoria at the moment. It's just, and I think it's not helping the track managers whatsoever, because the natural rain always keeps that little bit more moisture. I think when they have to water artificially, it just makes it very, very difficult. And the punters definitely don't want a soft 5 at the start of the day. So the track managers are in a hard spot. But I think it raced really fairly yesterday. Yeah, you did get some good horses coming from well back, and even when they were dominated on pace, the horses were still finishing off from behind. So all in all, I think it raced really fairly. Probably going to say that because I had a one runner and a winner, so I'm not going to complain, am I?
Oh, well, you won a weekend hustle. It's always good to win a good race on a big Group 1 day, 3 Group 1s. How about yourself, Troy? You're looking nice and fit.
Yeah, I'm going all right at the moment. I have to work on it pretty hard, I can tell you. I get fat off the smell of a banana, to be honest. So I work hard on it. I ride a lot, and I do a bit of Pilates as well. So I try and keep fit if I can.
Good on you, Troy. Well, we'll try and make you unfit when you get over here. We'll fill you up.
I look forward to it.
All right, there he goes, Troy Corstens. Thanks for coming on the program this morning, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, Troy.
Exciting news for WA racing.
Bang, got it.
Sensation. And then obviously Barrakill heading up towards the quokka. So 2 really, really nice horses.
The WA or part WA owned King Zephyr was really good in that race. I know it was odds on. You won't be happy at $1.65 in the multis and all of that.
Marty.
It was no hope from back where it was.
No. It wasn't on speed day.
Yep.
Midway through the race, you could just see how the race was going to pan out, and you think,
was that one of yours?
Yeah, absolutely, it was.
I missed your 3. What were they?
So King Zephyr, the second one was
horrendous.
Just a horror watch, and it had burnt me the 2 runs prior by beating 2 of my picks. It was Let's have a look.
I know it'll be.
Locally, we got the Cash, KTY. That was our winner. King Zephyr, runner-up, a Crook Watch. And then Sepples.
Oh, Sepples got
Which
you in the
was
two.
just horrendous viewing. For a horse that's 2 prior runs, it's just been phenomenal.
I guess Ethan Brown would like his time of gear.
Oh, so would I. I wouldn't have him as one of the legs, Marty. Eh? It's easy on Sunday morning, though, it must be said. Wasn't there a track saying something like that? Faith no more, easy on a Sunday morning. But, yeah, I tell you, that was just a horror watch. Autumn Boy, excellent yesterday. Damien Lane taking out the Caulfield Guineas. Woderton, will he get the punters ever again?
Never.
Oh, geez, didn't they tip in yesterday?
Oh, did they ever?
No, he's
I think the World Pool got him as well. With,
don't they love a favourite, the World Pool?
J-Mac.
Wow,
you've just got to be a bit clever with the World Pool and say, pick the one they're going to back.
And look for the value elsewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, because the favourite seems to always start 10, 20, 40, 50, 60 cents under what you're getting on fixed.
I tell you, it was a terrific race too, was that Turat, because Transatlantic and Evaporate, they've been duelling, and it was this time Transatlantic has turned to turn it on Evaporate. Text line open. Hi guys, Bluey here. Disappointing to see. Oh, Bluey's having a crack. Nothing has changed at Ascot. Running late to start race, getting horse in the barrows many times, and getting pushed to Sky 2 because of the starting with race 1 yesterday. First race 1 yesterday. Yeah, he's just asking for everyone to tighten up a little. I think Bluey, you'd just be a little bit patient with that one. But fair enough, you got him on notice. He's put him on notice
early doors. He doesn't muck around. He gets the fins out, tells them to start cracking the whips nice and early. Good on you, Bluey. Nice to hear from you nice and early on this Sunday morning. Hey, Marty, also just on that Transatlantic win, yes, this was yet another result for one of your favourite trainers in the business right now in Tony Gollan.
Yes.
The job that he's been able to do. They asked him post-race whether he would think about setting up a permanent sort of satellite style stable. And he said, no, this works really well for us as it is. I'm happy being based up in Queensland and rolling with these hit-and-run style of missions. He said, I did enjoy post-race the President's Room, wherever they go to have a quiet champagne. He said, but I've got to get ready, get back up and look after the rest of the team. But very focused, determined, and talented young trainer. He just keeps getting results.
Yep.
Keeps
very
getting
sharp
results.
mind.
And he's always had an opinion of this horse.
Yep, and he thinks it'll go on to be a weight for age horse. He said that post-race. We need to take a break, Shorty, because we're going to come back with Chris Nelson and Racetrack Ralphy.
Blah, blah, blah. Let Marty Young and David Shortte do all the talking on the Aftermath. Sunday morning at its best on Tab Radio Racing and Sports.
Who better to talk to than Chris Nelson? A very good morning.
Good morning, Marty. Good morning, Shorty.
Good morning to you, Nelso. Great to be chatting on this Sunday. What's it like in your neck of the woods today as you look out the window?
Current temperature 23 degrees. A few clouds in the sky. Going to warm up to 31 today. I heard on the news last night, I thought it's been a long time since we've had rain. Brisbane itself, and I'm north of Brisbane, has had less than a millimetre in the last 50 days. So things are starting to get a little bit brown.
Yeah.
So we need a bit of rain.
No, that's the same in Victoria. We just had Troy Corstens on the program as well, said the exact same thing. As we know, the tracks over there are starting. They're just good threes every time you look at them. They're probably bordering on good twos by the end of the day, or a fast two, I should say. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're looking at the Roman Consul taken out by Hidden Motive. So this is great for Nathan Doyle and Ashley Morgan. Great change of luck for them. And a beat the very unlucky Beedman. Maruna, the Golden Slipper winner, back in third.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be a black book around the country that hasn't got the name Beedman put into it, because he was certainly a good thing beaten. Interestingly here, if you look at the stewards report, Tim Clark on Beedman anticipated to be outside the leader. He ended up behind the speed in an awkward spot. And Tommy Berry on Mahuna anticipated to be behind the leaders where Beedman was and ended up outside the lead. So they both ended up in the spots they didn't want to end up in. And it didn't help either of them, particularly Beedman, who couldn't get clear. Look, once he got clear inside the 200 metres, it took him a little bit of time to wind up, and then he charged late. Interestingly, he ran the fastest last 400 and 200 of the entire race, which is pretty good considering he wasn't fully clear until inside the 200 and winding up. So he was the runner of the race. Mahuna, every possible chance, but maybe better ridden, probably just off speed. Maybe that didn't suit her sitting up outside the breeze, and Hidden Moat only if the winner. Well, the tempo did suit. It did suit those up on speed, and that's what helped him get the money. So Hidden Moat gets the job done. I wouldn't sack Mahuna, but Beedman, obviously the horse to follow.
Yeah, indeed. On to race number 5, listed Schweppes Tap Craig, paying tribute to two of the finer broadcasters from years gone by. There was some vision on X of the two guys there yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, the winner here, I hope he did too good. Farnacle was well back, well thought of, but was left a sitting shot. I hope he all over the top late. Streamo back in 3rd, Dusty May in 4th.
Yeah, Tempo did that, Shorty. They went hard in this race. They went really hard. Duke of Arrakis had the blinkers on and just went crazy in front. Farnacle was the one, did a terrific job because chased Duke of Arrakis all the way, and as you said, was a sitting shot late and did a good job to hold on and run second. I hope everything panned out, sat off speed, this filly, and looked halfway down the straight. You knew she was going to run home over the top of them, and her midweek form had been quite good, so she'll need further next time, there's no doubt about that. Farnacle was going 1,100 to 1,400 metres, as I said, with that very tough run chasing that tearaway leader. Clearly the run of the race, and clearly a horse I want to be on next time is Farnacle. Yep. But certainly I hope over a trip.
Okay, the Gloaming Stakes was race 6. It was Shangri-La Boy for Waterhouse Bot and Hieronymus. And then in the end, it won quite easily from the Pearls and San Giovanni. She's a Diva was back in 4th.
Yeah, I don't know about the format of this race, Marty. First two out were the first two home, Shangri-La Boy and the Pearls. Look, I found it a hard race to assess prior to the race, obviously, doing the form. And I thought plenty of them were a real concern at running a strong 1,800 metres, and I think that might have been the case. And you consider the 4th horse, She's a Diva, was clearly the best of the closers and was a $91 shot. So I don't know about this form. Shangri-La Boy, typical Waterhouse spot win, up on front, handles the rise in distance, but yeah, I don't know about that. I won't be putting a lot of emphasis on the format of that race going forward. Could be wrong, could be right. We will soon find out.
Doesn't matter what level you race at. A great racing pattern's a beautiful asset to have. For a jockey perspective and from a training perspective, just get your horses in good habits. And more often than not, the race pattern does favour you and you find ways to win. Now, this was a finish. I was in here with Marty yesterday, Chris, for the finish of the Group 3 Nivison over the 1,200 metres. Gangster Granny looking to hold on. Monte Supreme coming at it. Gangster Granny snuck home by the barest apostle margins, defeating Monte Supreme. More territory, so it was at a price back in 3rd, cheeky run.
Yeah, half a metre more, Shorty, and our tickets were all confetti, that's for sure. But again, the leader went along really quickly here, and that was Benita Queen, 3 or 4 lengths clear. Ran 3rd last. Denison Darcy was 2nd in the run, ran 2nd last. So he was set up for the closers. Well, Gangster Granny sat 3rd, so it wasn't a bad effort, but she was still 6 lengths off the leaders, and she reeled them in at about the 200-metre mark. Of course, you mentioned Monty Supreme. A very consistent horse, Monty Supreme. He was going for 4 straight, and he almost got there. So he's a horse worth following. Gangster Granny got it done. Bohemia, Blowout. They got stuck behind the tiring leader last 100 metres or so. Ran last. Probably shouldn't have run last as an $11 shot. So maybe one sneaky one for the Black Book is Bohemia.
Okay, the main event of the day, Group 2 Hill Stakes over the 1,900 metres. Now, when you were doing your quaddie numbers with Shorty, you went 2 and 9, and off air I said, geez, he's gone nice and short here. But the great man knew what he was talking about because Lindemann, Nashra Willa and Chris Waller are just dominating at the moment.
Yeah, and this horse was just lengths better than any of these. He only had to have a little bit of luck, and he had Sedelius form. None of these would get anywhere near Sedelius. So he just had to find that luck early from the wide gate, and Nashra Willa was quite patient. He steadily worked him across to find the front, and when he did find the front, he kicked clear in the straight, and his class told. Attrition just had to do a little work around the 1,800 metre mark, nothing wrong with the run. Maison Louis, who won the Derby up here in the winter, he ran on really, really well late. He was the best of the closers, and I note in the steward's report he was galloped on, so that's an extra special effort. So well done, Maison Louis. He might be a horse worth following. Kovalika and Militarised ran on. That's something new, isn't it, guys? So there you go.
Yeah, I fell for Kovalika. I don't think the blinkers suited Kovalika yesterday. He wanted to over-race, did everything wrong. But that just had a bit of Viv Richards about it, didn't it, Shorty? The way he's just dispatched one over square for 6. See Nelson.
Very nice.
Chewing the gum.
Oh, he's done some of his best work. And I'll tell you, he also does some of his best work with a whiskey sour, Marty, and I can tell him that...
I do.
I can tell you, Chris, having visited up there, I'm still a little bit croaky and nearly a week on from the visit up to Bali, but they are waiting. They're waiting for you again up there, Chris. They said, where is that Mr. Nelson? So I'm sure...
Late April, Shorty. I will be there.
I'm sure you'll be in fine form too. And we round out our look at Rose Hill, the Alan Brown Stakes over the 1,400 metres. Talk about a consistent galloper that just keeps turning up and delivering. Headley Grange for Joe Pride. What a prep it's been for this horse. It's just gone to that whole new level. Had to overcome barrier 22 as well, if you don't mind here, punters. And Gringotts, who all the money was from, geez, they sold into this late. It was 5 into $3.50 in the last 8 minutes of betting. That was the only one they wanted to be on. Gringotts had its chance, but it was Headley Grange who was too strong late, defeating Gringotts. Back in third place was a General Salute, another very consistent galloper, hitting the frame once again.
Yeah, and again, the pace was a big plus here for Headley Grange. And look at his form. His first trial, this preparation, was in May, midway through May. His first run was the 7th of June. So you're right, he's been up a fair while, but they've spaced some of his runs. Look, the tempo did suit him. He was all clear at the top of the straight, nice and wide out, was able to finish over the top of Gringotts, who had a good run third defence, but as I said, they did go hard up front. And he had the 61 kilos, don't forget, as well. General Salute just could not get a crack at them late. He's run third, beaten 1.3, arguably could have won the race. So he's not a horse I can catch, but he was unlucky yesterday. Will he do it? Ran 7th. He needs further, but he's on track for something further. And those leaders, Felix Majestic and O'Dominor, well, they capitulated as they had to because they went too hard.
Terrific meeting for Zach Lloyd. 4 winners, could have ridden 5.
Yeah, not a bad effort at all. He's when J-Mac's away, Zach Lloyd comes to the fore on this occasion. So well done to Zach. He's flying.
Horses to follow?
Horses to follow, surprisingly, Beedman out of race 4, Farnicle out of race 5, Maison Louis out of race 8, and I'll put General Salute in. You have to put him in because he was probably unlucky not to win out of race 9.
How's this meeting looking next week? Just got a small meeting on at Randwick, Everest, King Charles, Sydney Stakes, Kosciuszko, Silver Eagle, Ledger.
What a day. What a day.
Yeah, and you've got the Caulfield Cup in Melbourne and other feature races as well. So, yeah, one of the best days of racing of the year now, isn't it?
Oh, it's spectacular. I was there last year, and I'll tell you, it won't be the last Everest I get to, but, well, as long as I'm upright and still breathing, put it that way. It was, yeah, so do I. But it was just a phenomenal experience. Geez, I tell you, Dave, yesterday was Melbourne's day, but I tell you, very quickly they go, we'll give you that.
Yeah, you can have that one.
We're willing out all the bells and whistles for next week, so good luck keeping up with us there. Chris, also a good day yesterday there at Eagle Farm. We had a chat to you with a halftime report. I just wanted to quickly give some props to the preparation that Walsh Bays had and its victory there yesterday in the listed Queensland Cup. This is one that you've latched onto on the way through. The horse just keeps up turning up and winning.
I love winning horses. And look, the query yesterday was, she's a deep field mare. She was going 2,000 to 2,400. And she got it done, but I tell you, one stride past the line. It was a funny old finish. So You Are had her covered. So it wouldn't want to be any further. And I don't think she'll ever attempt to get over any further. But 5 straight wins, Shorty, to say some prep from this mare trained by the team, the Munch team.
Indeed. We got racing up there at the old Lance Cairns this afternoon. Anything for the punters at Lance Cairns this afternoon, Chris O?
Yeah, we got one for Lance. We can hopefully hit this one right out of the park. And it is race 4, number 2, Innovates, trained by Rodney Miller and to be ridden by Jackson Murphy from Gate 1. I thought it looked the standout.
Well done, Chris. We'll tune in on Wednesday morning. And, text here too. Who got the money between you and Nathan yesterday?
I think I did.
Right.
Nice.
I haven't checked, but I think I did. And if I hadn't, I just would have said
you won in here.
Yeah, no, take it while it's there. You certainly got the money over Marty and I. We're going to have a little rest with Queen Anne now.
She's
just
in the
preparation to forget about.
Yeah,
and,
too hard for.
We've donated at one time too many after yesterday, so we're going to give her a little rest.
You'll be right. A week will see you out. You'll be back at it next Saturday.
Yes, we will, Chris. You know as well.
we worked around that.
Good on you, mate. All the very best. Enjoy your Sunday.
You too, guys. All the best. Thanks.
Yes. A very good morning, Racetrack Ralphy.
Good morning, boys. Yeah, Caulfield Guineas Day, always one of the best days of the calendar, and Caulfield just played absolute perfection, I thought, yesterday. So if you weren't good enough, you didn't win, or if you didn't have luck.
Did you see him all right?
The neck brace is on, yeah, be fair to say. There's a little bit of head wobble. As I said 2 weeks ago on this show, I just thought Transatlantic had the perfect preparation for a Toorak, and that was the highlight personally of the day for me.
Okay, let's start with the three Group 1s, the Might and Power, and we've already had some texters querying the rides of Lane and McDonald. Was Blake Shinn at his best on Globe?
Look, it wasn't his best, and I'm delighted I've got Vince Accardi's data through, so they've got some real clarity here. Do not criticise the other riders. They didn't turn up, the horses underneath them. Blake's led at a slightly below average tempo. So for a 4-horse field, sometimes, let's say, for instance, Craig Williams a couple of weeks ago on Mr. Brightside. Well, Globe's gone at an okay tempo for a 4-horse field. And Treasure of the Moment and Buckaroo just did not deliver. Blake certainly did, and Globe certainly did, but the other two horses just didn't deliver. Now, whether that means Buckaroo's got sort of, let's call it lead in the legs because he's just looking for a fast 2400 next week, that could be the case. Treasure of the Moment was just plainly disappointing, and Globe's brought his absolute A game. So I would say that's the breakdown there. I could not criticise those riders one iota from now. Now I've got the clarity of the data as well.
Okay, the Toorak taken out by Transatlantic turns the tables on Evaporate in a great finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Now again, this is where I'm delighted to have the numbers through. So he's led fast here to Transatlantic. They've gone very fast, 9.7 lengths above standard first half mile. So that's really motoring, and this is the pincer movement of two great riders in action. So Blake was slowly away on Evaporate, so just took his medicine. But Evaporate's still going really quickly as well. So even though he's generally an on-pacer, because he was slowly away, he took his medicine, and in the end there was not much between them again. This is a classic case of two horses set to peak for their grand final. Now, I reckon Transatlantic will feel that run because he's gone so fast, and Evaporate's still got a leap to come. He might be very dangerous at weight for age in the Champions Mile, end of the carnival. I'd say Like a Lucy's got a big circle around it for the Empire Rose. It's going to take a power beating. And both, Athanatos was they'll find the right race for him. He's just a classic sort of Group 2.5 horse, if you like, just below Group 1, and he's run to his absolute best. Pinstripe had no luck. They might freshen him for the Ore, but Transatlantic and Evaporate all honours, and Sepples is just a classic case. I know he had some trouble, but it was peak. Very hard to peak 3 times in a row.
Yeah, certainly didn't yesterday. The Caulfield Guineas, race number 8, Group 1 level, and Autumn Boy. That once again, the lead-up form, right races. You head to Sydney in the build-up to this particular race, and it was the Golden Rose form to the fore once again. And even though Autumn Boy was a little way off, B-walked, it was bringing that right form to this race there yesterday. D Lane aboard, beautiful ride, used the draw to advantage, popped it out at the top of the lane, and home you go. Very nice performance. Planet Red, nice run at big odds. Back in third position was Observer, and Ralphie, they tipped into Wotan, a horse that had just won the one race with a further 5 placings going into yesterday. The money was... They were out of trees to get involved with this horse, to be fair, Wotan. They left it in there yesterday.
Well, they did. He's put up sore, so we just don't know. So under that circumstance, and you can line him up with Autumn Boy because, as you said, the Sydney form was superior, and in the end, Autumn Boy's turned up on the day, and Wotan just hasn't. So I don't think there's probably much between them talent-wise. But Damien Lane, what a peach of a ride! I said they flew in the Toorak. Well, they've gone even faster here with Western Sweden, which is no surprise, really. I mean, I think if you did any serious mapping, you had to think that they were going to completely go fast here. Big field full of colts and come into play with the mouthguard in. And that meant the sort of that sweet spot, 3 to 6 lengths from the lead, where's Autumn Boy in the perfect position. And it was funny with it wouldn't have been funny if you were on Whiskey on the was it Whiskey on the Rye, Whiskey on the Hill rather in race 3, but Damien got caught there on the inside, no fault of his own. There was just no gap, and what he did both on this horse and then earlier on with O2 Good, even though he's drawn inside, he made sure he was out of traffic before the turn. And that's just, the elite riders, if something goes wrong, they're going to keep on working it out. And it was just such a good ride. And Ethan Brown, this was a coma job for me, boys, because I did have a little bit on Observer. I thought if there was going to be a blowout, it'd be this horse. I wouldn't be surprised if they run it in the Cox Plate. I mean, who knows? Observer's the horse to follow out of it for the Vars. I reckon Autumn Boy would be surprised if that's job done, the way Chris Waller operates. But, gee, Observer's a good horse, and he proved it yesterday. I would have loved to have seen how close he would have got. You don't want to put on imaginary lengths, but his run was super, and he's a very, very good horse. Planet Red, Big Price, just super trainers, and they've got him the peak. And Finrock, that was a good performance given how fast they went to hang on for fourth.
Get back to race one. It was blinded by the light. Moody and Coleman just on El Duca. What a run it was, and gave the winner 8.5 kilos.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a good little benchmark race. They've the first three on settling were pretty much first three homes, and they've just gone an even tempo. They haven't gone slowly. So once again, you've got a good jockey up front, just rating El Duca right, and Zach Spain's tagged it. So they've fought out the finish there. And Leto covered ground, and I reckon it's probably ready. It was a nice first up return. I just thought this might be a sideways run, and it was. And Mr. Verse was slowly away, and that just proved the difference. Just too much ground to make up. And I think back to 2000, it went from 2000 back to 1700. So I wouldn't drop off Mr. Verse. I think he's got a nice win in store, but blinded by lights going the right way.
It was a good win. Now, Ralphie, on to race two. This, for me, was one of the wins of the day. Point Barrow back in the pack, turning for home. Still doing a little bit wrong, running around green as grass, but wow, that acceleration was clear for all to see. That was some win. Point Barrow knocking off Surfs Up and Vain Girl.
Yeah, and on a triple group one day, and as well as the sprint that we'll get to, it was a pretty serious day. It's run the best last 600 and 400 of the day. Overall time was nice. I don't know if it's good enough to win at Coolmore, but I'm not saying it won't, because that straight line speed is serious. Mooney Valley was an absolute cobra job. I was on it that night, and back to last, and then powered home as well there. So you'd think its straight line speed will be an asset at Flemington. So whether they go the Coolmore or maybe take the easier option with the Phillies only Derby Day, where you think it'd be nice and short. Surfs Up, I reckon it might have been on its wrong leg too. It's run well, and Vain Girl's just perfectly rated, and they spaced the rest. But yeah, Point Barrow and Surfs Up both on the way up, but Point Barrow is probably a next level.
Third time lucky in a Herbert Power for Braden Starr, Besutton Young and Williams.
Yeah, and perfect ride on pace as well. Boys, I did have a little spec on Plymouth for the Caulfield Cup at 200 to 1 last month. So I thought it's going to get in.
Yeah.
So it threw the race away. I don't know if it wanted it, but Braden Starr did, ironically, given how long since it's won. And Whiskey on the Hill, of course, was the cobra job there, just in the wrong spot. No one, that wasn't Damien Lane's fault. Just sometimes races don't unfold. And part of that reason was they really walked here until the 800-metre mark. So no pace on, always compresses the field. So a couple of these might back up right. Look, this is a broken record, but post-impressionist, I reckon if they run at Derby Day in that, whatever it's called, the Lexus or whatever, the 2500, I wouldn't write it off. It's just had 3 no-tempo races. Speed races are still very, very big.
Indeed. On to race number 5, the Catnax Jewelers Group 3 Vars. This is over the mile and O2 Good. D-Lane again to the 4, defeated Jenny Lala. Moonlight Circus at odds back in 3rd.
Well, you ready for this? It stalked the leaders, and if it was in the Toorak, it would have been 21 lengths from the lead at the 800-metre mark. So they just completely walked. So I think O2 Good's probably found her best this prep, but it had to fall over to lose from there. So they just completely walked, and it was never going to get beaten there. So a couple of these back in the field, I reckon might improve, and one of them would be moving out. It was a little glimpse there, so I think it's showed some ability as a filly. I think it's now ready and probably ready for Flemington and or even Mooney Valley Cox Plate day, or it might run a race in an Empire Rose moving out, because that was just a no-tempo, impossible race shape for it.
How about the Weekend Hustler, Zoo Sensation? We've spoken to Troy Corstens. He's heading west with this gelding.
Oh, that's interesting, because he's got high sustained speed, isn't it? Doesn't he? So that was just a perfect front running ride from Ben Allen there. King Zephyr, one of the horses to follow from here. It's just a big track horse. Flemington, Sandown as it's go. So he'll go to Flemington and he'll take a power of beating whatever Graham Begg puts him in Cup Week there. But beautiful front running ride from Ben Allen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, stole the momentum too. Good. I was saying to Marty earlier on, wonderful to see Giga kick back into the winners list. Such a consistent and top flight horse for a significant period of time now for a very humble trainer in Clayton Douglas. So every time I hear the man speak, I'm so impressed. He's one of the most humble and down-to-earth characters in the caper.
100%, and the best last 800 of the day, 8th best last 200 of the day, so that tells you just got a little taper late. So, and his history says he's going to improve into a prep. So, whether they don't choose the quick backup option in the Everest, is it going to be a race next week?
Ooh.
Or just say, we'll just go for the champion sprint on final day of Melbourne Cup week. If they go the latter, he's going to take a power beating because, as we often see, those Everest horses are flat as pancakes when they come down, whereas this horse is on the rise. So he's a real player.
Interviewed post-race, he said he's heading to the champions.
There you go.
And in the lucky last, the Northwood Plume, it was lucky for Charlotte Littlefield and a great day for Benny Allen.
Yeah, absolutely. Another ripping ride, and she's still got improvement to come. Because they're only second up off a nothing run and good training performance. Vestas was the coma job, but she's back in town. That was a really nice run with an impossible race shape again. So I'd say for going forward for horses to follow, definitely King Zephyr and definitely Vestas are the two there. But the Group 1 races, I should add, Like a Lucy for the Empire Rose. I think it's going to run a huge race there.
All right, so King Zephyr, Like a Lucy, Vestas, the big three from Racetrack Ralphy at racetrackralphy.com.au for all of the latest. Have you pulled up off the Cal trip, Ralphie? Enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely, Shorty. I can't thank everyone at Kalgoorlie enough. Great to catch up with you, Marty, from here, and just everyone treated me so well. And so Swanee says exactly the same thing for different reasons. It'd be fair to say we split after the meeting. I'm looking forward to catching up with the boy, but my goodness, he's got a constitution.
Big style. There's a few of them up there that have. Ronnie Brown sent a text in about the calf off if you want to have another crack. He said he's waiting.
Yeah, $1.10 him.
Good on you, Ralphie. Great catching up with you, mate, and have a wonderful weekend. We look forward to our chat again this time next week.
Good on you, boys.
See you, Ralphie.
This weather update on the Aftermath is brought to you by Tab Touch.
I'll look around the grounds today. Broome 33, clouds clearing there. Karratha 39 and sunny. Port Hedland 39 and sunny. Carnarvon 27, lots of sunshine. Geraldton 25 degrees today. Beautiful day up there on the Crayfish Coast. Northam 28 and sunny. Kalgoorlie 29 degrees, lots of sunshine. Mandurah, it's the old Richie Benno, 22 and sunny. Pinjarra, 23 and sunny. Bunbury, 21, mostly sunny. Albany today, 21 degrees the top, possible shower. Here in the metro area today, 25 degrees the maximum, sunny, 5% chance of rain. It's currently 12.4 degrees.
After a huge weekend of racing and sport, we can all do with a Sunday Saviour to round out the punting weekend in winning style. The Tab Touch Sunday Saviour is here to sweeten your Sunday on the punt. It's over to the boys to provide this week's edition of Tab Touch Sunday Saviour.
Yes, get involved, punters, the Sunday Saviour, whether you're extending the lead or looking to peg it back. 0427 789 571. That is the Retrovision text line. We'd love to hear from you. You've got until 9 o'clock. You need to send through a multi somewhere between 2 and 4 legs. No joy. Last week the punters missed out, so good opportunity to get involved this time around. Multi between 2 and 4 legs. Get it in by 9 o'clock. Good luck if you're playing along at home today with the Sunday Saviour.
6 minutes past 7 o'clock. Brad Hardie comes up next.
On the Aftermath, it's time to introduce the 1985 Brownlow medalist from the Footscray Football Club, Brad Hardie. Introducing the boy from Hilton, the AFL guru, Brad Hardie.
Good morning, Bradley.
Good morning, Marty. Good morning, Shortte. Good to be with you, boys. It's a good time of the year and all those mums out there start dropping their foals. Honey Jew dropped the foal the other day, Marty. A beautiful good little girl.
Yes.
Yeah, she's magnificent. Magnificent. So good on you, honey.
And
we love her.
The father was again?
I'm pretty sure it's Marine 1.
Yes, it is. Marine 1. Park. Yeah, correct one.
Marine 1.
Geez, I tell you what, Marty, the man on the other end of the line right now as well, happy birthday. Shout out to the great man. And he is in a bit of nick at the moment, owning with a few other big-name footballers, having a pretty decent run of it at the minute.
Yes, we are. We're going along nicely, and a couple are coming through, and Swingman's back in work, and got another one coming along well as well, Flying Jomar. So looking forward to that, Shorty, and so hopefully racing Placid Arc Prelude Day on November 1, I think it is. So looking forward to that.
Brad, tell us who else is in that. Is it Summer involved in one or two of those?
Yeah, Summer, yeah, and his great mate Peter Jono and his dad, Laurie,
great man,
is involved
Jono.
as well. Yeah, we've got Marty and Jake Waterman in one, and Bobby McHale and his son in another. So yeah, we're very diversified there. So we look, we don't normally mess with the Moss Street Fairies, but unfortunately, I don't know what happened. We got infected.
He snuck in,
but they snuck him in the back door somehow
with the humans.
So, anyway. Yes, exactly right, with the real people.
Got to read this one. Chappie from Gosnells. Morning, fellas. He's off to expose 310 squares of concrete. First game of cricket in 6 years yesterday. Got done. Dropped an absolute sitter, and now can hardly walk. Happy bloody Sunday.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's been a few people over here, because I knew you were bemoaning there's a lot of marathons on today, isn't there? You know, right around the country. And, I think people who played cricket yesterday and have to run a marathon today are idiots.
I don't think they go in the same sentence, surely. Playing cricket yesterday and running a marathon today, you'd have to... That's a special...
It reminds me of a funny story, because you remember the great Wayne Delmenico, who played centre half forward, centre half back for us in our premiership side many years ago. He came to Brownie one day. We were playing at Fremantle Oval, Shorty, and he came down and said, "Brownie, I don't think I can play." And he said, "Well, what's going on?" We used to call him Cheesecake. We're not allowed to do that anymore. I don't know why. But anyway, he said, "Oh, I've just got a bit of a stiff back." He said, "Oh, what have you been doing?" He said, "Oh, I just laid 1,000 pavers this morning in my driveway."
Oh, my goodness.
Bit different, wasn't it then?
Oh, wow.
Game day. Game day.
Big Wayne.
Yeah, just building a place out there at Somerville. I just laid 1,000 pavers this morning.
A he-man of the competition, wheeling out those antics.
Bring us up to date. What's the latest with the trades? What's got to happen?
Oh, well, it's got to be done by Wednesday, 4:30 your time, boys. And look, I think it goes too long, to be brutally honest. I mean, they're working on these sort of things, behind the scenes. But the AFL love this sort of stuff, because it's all, it just keeps them bubbling along in the paper, Shorty. You know what I mean? And talk about this, talk about that, then they start kite flying, and you're not sure what's true and what's not, and what might be true at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning may not be true at 7:30. It's all over the shop, Marty, to be brutally honest. They've dropped a few. But there is going to have to be a few buttons pushed, I would think, for blokes like Curnow, Merritt, etc. Butters has got to push the button at Port Adelaide if he wants to get out of there. But some of them, and they have narcissistic traits. There's no doubt about it. They love it. They love being talked about. You know what I mean? But at some point, if you're going to entertain this sort of thing, you've got to be prepared to move. And sometimes, if you're going to be prepared to move, you've got to do what Zach Merritt did. And put yourself out there, and you're going to have to put the helmet and the guard and the box in and all of that sort of stuff, because you're going to cop it, you know that. But but likewise, the opposition, which is the team you're going to, they have to be prepared to stump something up. You just can't. Everybody wants to be one-upmanship, Marty.
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody, we want to win. We want to win, and the other team lose. Well, no. I mean, if you want somebody for need or want or whatever, and a big name, you've got to put yourself out there on the line. And unfortunately, there's casualties, as we're seeing now. The blowback through the Sydney Swans, Shorty, is becoming a little bit increasingly mammoth, because we were aware of it. We led the boys through there on breakfast, with Rowbottom going to Gold Coast, etc., to play with his sister. And now we find out that he didn't have any idea. So, seriously, he doesn't want to go anywhere. So, and now it's down to Ollie Florent. They're trying to move Ollie Florent now. They've gone through Hayward. They've gone through all these guys. And this is the sort of disintegration you consider put into your footy club, in the change rooms. If you're not up front with people, just be up front with people. That's what they need to do if they want to get these things done, Marty.
Just reading on this one, and what you said about kite flying, etc., reading on Fox, Nick Dacos has addressed recent trade speculation as his club speaks with a rival midfield. I was listening to when this kicked off, and it was a complete and utter, I think Tasmania should go after any footballer, including Nick Dacos. Why wouldn't you go for Nick Dacos?
Exactly right.
As much as you want. You're not going to get him.
And look, who's to know? That may well be the case, Marty, down the track, because it's too early now. You know, we know they've got that $5 million pool, Shorty, where they can spend $3 million in 1 year and $2 million in the other, and they can go out and actually sign people outside the salary cap with bonus signing-ons, you know, and all that sort of stuff. But it's not ready yet. You know, they're not planned on 2028 if they come in. So we're talking about going into season 2026. So it's far too premature for all of that. But the other thing is, of course, he missed out on the club champion award, the Copeland Trophy, the other night, and Peter wasn't happy. And why would he be? I mean, seriously. I mean, you know how big a raps we've all been, boys, on Darcy Cameron's year. But how does he get beat? The coaches' votes, Darcy Cameron wasn't even within a bull's roar of Nick, you know what I mean, and that's handed out by their coach. So I just don't get it. It really is strange. So people are getting 1 and 1 and coming up with 3. So Nick ain't going anywhere anytime soon. But that's not to say, in a couple of years' time, when things really start to get warmed up for that new team down in Tassie, boys, and they're going to be looking and they're going to be on the hunt. They can get one player from each club, and it doesn't matter who they contracted or not. So that's a bloody good start, isn't it? They're already trying to formulate their juniors at the moment. They've got a VFL side going in next year, and we know what their draft picks are: 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and so on. When the year after next. So, yeah, they're going to be dangerous, that's for sure. So that's why teams now are encouraging to try and get ready-made players as opposed to, grooming players, coming out and nurturing players, because if you don't win one in the next couple of years, good luck trying to do it through the draft.
It's going to become awfully challenging. And a club like Freo must look back and go, wow. Their evolution, though, they just came about at the wrong time, didn't they? West Coast got all the favours, and they didn't want it to be overcompensated for Freo when they came in, and then we've seen Gold Coast and GWS get plenty given to them to start up. Yep. Gold Coast didn't do it right. The Giants, I think, you'd be the closest wanting to be somewhere near their model, because they've had pretty good success the way they've gone about it. But this time around, Tasmania, this just feels like they're being given a whole lot of very, very nice advantages coming into this competition, Bradley.
Yeah, the big difference is, for me, and we've touched on it, Marty and I have touched on it a couple of times over the journey as well, is they're going to go in full guns blazing with experience. And what I mean by that, Benny Gale, been there, done that. Coach going to be been there, done that, most likely a premiership coach. That you've got football-related people who could be, Ken Hinckley could go in there as the footy manager, been there, done that. They've already got Derek Hind looking after list management, etc., been there, done that. This is where some clubs like, Gold Coast, when they kicked off, and that's just no disrespect to people like that. But, with Blue McKenna and that, some of them were very good at their jobs, but most of them were rookies, Shorty.
Yes.
And that's where West Coast find themselves now. They've got a rookie chairman, they've got a rookie CEO, they've got a rookie coach, they've now got a rookie fitness guy, and list management. Can you see where I'm going with this? You can't buy experience at Coles, otherwise everybody would be doing it.
Correct.
But I'm not saying all of these people are terrible at what they do, but they're learning on the job. And to get this off the ground, the AFL are leaving no stone unturned. They're getting people who have A, had experience and been there, done that, and B, giving them just back the truck up. Just chip out all of your concessions and away you go, boys. If you muck this up, I'll tell you what, you'd never get another job in footy ever, I don't reckon.
Went off the text line, it's that Retrovision text line as well, 0427 789 571. Of course, we're here today for Morley Mitsubishi. Get out there. They're doing deals on the Triton 4x2, the GLX 4x4, 212 Walter Road in Morley. This is from Jordan. He wants to know, Brad, what do you think of Fremantle getting Judd McVie from Melbourne? Will he fit into their team?
Yeah, he will. That's a nice get. Look, there's no doubt there's a few clubs after him. And I know, look, unfortunately, Melbourne, and there's always the admonished one, isn't it? It's like there's no break-up are nice, are they, Shorty? You know what I mean? Mm. And, look, I think, Melbourne are a little bit dirty on Judd because they plucked him from obscurity, really. But that's life. That's business. That's the way it rolls now. But he can fit in really, really well down there at Fremantle, I reckon. Yeah, initially, he might start back. He might be that small defensive half-back, back pocket type player, but I reckon he's got the evolvement in him to, get up onto the wing. They've been looking for that. They tried Aish there for a while, didn't work. Sharp sort of been out of favour. Pushed our mirror out there, when they're catering for Fife and Co. So, yeah, look, there's a chance that he could develop into the midfield player that they want as well, and that breakaway speed, because they don't have a lot of leg speed. I'm not saying he's the zippiest, but he's not slow either. So, and he's going to get an opportunity, Marty, so I think it's going to work for him.
One club I have to give significant props to for at least throwing their hat in the ring and trying things through this trade period are St Kilda. They've clearly been the most active. They've landed most of the players that they've wanted to get, and the one that's been a bit stiff, I can't help but feel for Lecalier. So
what's the latest here? What actually happened, bro?
So effectively, he's been the one that, a long way out, he's almost the first player that they've popped onto the line and said, look, this should be put in takeout material. He's not that, he's only played 17 or 18 games. There's not a lot of interest in him. We should be able to get him sorted. We'll pay him overs. And he, by all reports, like they've been boyfriend, girlfriend stuff for, by all reports, according to management, at least a couple of years. So he's seduced, completely seduced and bought into the chat that's going on, and so he's there, and they've just put him to the side. This is just a put in takeout sort of business, Bradley, like one of your Sunday saviour legs that you're really keen on. But then, of course, all this other activity started happening, and unfortunately for him, all the money's been spent and spread around across everyone else. You don't want to upset everyone else. And Brad, he's just been the last one left there to be signed off on, and then they've looked at the numbers and gone, well, he doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah, look, it's not ideal. You're allowed to change your mind. I get all that. It's a two-way street. But it's very, very poor stuff, I think, from St Kilda. I think he was, because he was first in the queue. He was committed. Everybody knew that. So, and you're talking about changing someone's life. You're talking about 4x800. You're not talking about 4x200, or you don't say, well, he might be able to pick that up somewhere else. Where do you pick 4x800 up? It's really, really nasty the way this has turned out. And I'm with you, Shorty, but I'm completely in the opposite in regards to where they're going to be. This crew, and I'm talking about Lyon, I'm talking about Gubby, I'm talking about Silvani, the president, they're going to be there for the next 18 months. They've just bought themselves 18 months. That's all they've done. That's all they have done, because they're putting all this together now at great expense, and they've sold it to Bassett, the chairman, who's clueless. And they'll get through the middle of next year, and nothing will have next year after next, and nothing would have improved. So
do you say that because of the coach, Brad, or what do you say that?
The whole thing. He's taken over the whole shooting match. He has taken over the whole shooting match. He's not just coach anymore. He's overseeing the whole thing. And this is what you don't want in your footy club. This is what he does. This is what he did at Fremantle. This is where he wants to rule the roost. And I don't believe him. I don't believe in him. He's going to retire as the coach who's coached the most number of games without a premiership. Take it to the bank. But the bottom line is, all I'm telling you is that you are only as strong as your board, and their board is piss weak because they're allowing him and others to infiltrate there. And, De Conning, mate, he thinks shaking hands before the game's been physical. So that he ain't going to change him. And they're trying to change the rules now, where they want the ruckman to jump again. Well, he doesn't like physicality, mate. He doesn't like that. They've had to up the ante. The Bulldogs made sure of that with Wilkie. He got an extra extension on his deal, $300,000 extra per annum, and he's going to get the captaincy. You've got other people that are coming into there. Silvani, 5x900. I mean, these blokes are handy players. They're not going to change the fortunes of your footy club, I assure you, and I'm happy to bet against them next year and the year after. But it's going to be too late for St Kilda supporters, because you mark my words, in 2 years' time, they'll be no better off.
Got to get to some texts here. This is, the Maulers text in from Maylands. All is right in my world. Sun's out, birds singing, girls in frocks, and Ascot up and about yesterday. Great day at Ascot. It was really fantastic. Yeah, you would have seen the vision, Brad, yesterday. It was a stellar day out there for opening day.
Yeah, stellar day. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I saw the girls. They looked magnificent, and the boys looked resplendent, and all of that sort of stuff. And, it's a really, really terrific day. And the racing started to heat up, and all right across the country, and it's going to get better and better week in, week out now from now on. Our own little horses going round, and you also get to the stage where, but I'm still in the fetal position from yesterday with General Salute, Marty. I'm sorry, I can't come out of it.
Okay. The best way out is the Sunday Saviour, Brad.
Yes. Yeah, I've got one of those. Well, I'm good at meatloaf, like I was last week. You boys are having a well-earned spell.
Yes.
I'm going to where are they? Seymour today, race 1. Number 1 Zara's going up there to ride, which is unusual for Mack.
Yes.
How do you say that? Chugui, the ex-Godolphin horse, resuming today. I'm going to go with that.
We'll go with race 1, number 1. Yeah.
Yeah, number 1. Race 6, number 3, Tornell, $2.30 in really good form. I think it'll do it again. And go down to Canamble, the big dance race today. Qualify for the big dance. Race 7, number 4 for Bjorn Baker. More Jude at $2.20. So Seymour 1-1, 6-3, Canamble 7-4. Roll them all together, $13.65, boys.
Yeah, one here from Bluey. He says Brad's tips for Bathurst today. Bathurst.
Forward.
Okay, go with forward. Alan Moffat.
I think they're the first 4 on the grid, aren't they,
Yeah.
Louis? I think they're the first 4. I think it's going to be a bit of rain about, so it might be a bit of carnage up there on the mountain. So a 6-kilometre track might become a 12-kilometre track, I think. So we'll keep an eye on that one. So I'm happy to say with the Ford boy. I got no idea, to be brutally honest, but I think Ford, if they're the front 4, well, there'd be a hard chance of getting past them, I really would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty, of course, tap touch with all of the markets if you're looking to get involved there throughout the course of the motorsports. For Bluey, quick update on what that market looks like. Kostecki and Hazelwood are the 325 favourites. Feeney and Whincup 350. Waters and Winterbottom 475. 750 for Mostert and Coulthard. It's 850 and upwards from there, Bluey. So anyone looking to get involved. And Bradley, as always, you've found yourself into a position of favouritism. The winning car betting, Ford $1.55. The Chevys $2.35.
You want to put that into the Sunday Saviour? Throw Ford in for a fourth lead.
And what will that take us up to about $21 or something like that? Thanks for our great mates. Glennie Mortimer. He's a Group 1 champion. He's a beauty. The Nude Nut, 1-800-100-100. They've been absolute excellent supporters of us. And don't forget Frankie Lee out there at Ross's Oxen. He's a champion as well, boys. So and statewide. So, look forward to catching you during the week.
Thanks, Bradley. Tune in tomorrow morning.
See you, mate.
That's Brad.
Have your say on the aftermath by contacting the Retrovision text line. Whatever the topic may be, whatever you think, we want you to have an opinion. Contact the Retrovision text line on 0427 789 571. That number again, 0427 789 571. Retrovision. RAC members save an additional 5% every day at Retrovision. Blah, blah, blah. Let Marty Young and David Shortte do all the talking on the Aftermath. Sunday morning at its best on Tab Radio Racing and Sports.
Approaching the corner, 4.25 out from Jenny Lala. 0-2 Good now slides up 3 wide to Stake a Claim. Under pressure, rumbled again from Moonlight Circus, Terra Star and Bond Mistress. 0-2 Good under a hold, moves up to Jenny Lala. The 2 favourites will fight it out. 200 metres to go. 0-2 Good surges a half length in front of Jenny Lala, followed by Moonlight Circus. But it's 0-2 Good coming away, aptly named, and 0-2 Good balks at the line but won by a length. Jenny Lala, Moonlight Circus.
Shorty, I thought some of the best scenes emanating out of Caulfield yesterday was 0-2 Good's win. Kevin Daffy putting on a show in the mounting yard. He joins us right now. G'day, Kev. Congratulations.
G'day. Good morning, boys. Thanks for having me. How good was that?
How good was that? You tell us.
Doesn't get any better.
No, and a clearly very, very special relationship, Kevin, that you have with this 6-year-old daughter of All Too Hard. You've gone on the way through. You put a lot of time and effort in, small team, and you can tell there's a pretty special bond between yourself and this girl.
Oh, there sure is. She's actually the only horse I've got, so it's a very small team.
It's incredible, though, when you get the chance to spend that one-on-one time and you're so invested. And to be fair, to have a race day like yesterday, you've got a Group 3 race on the program and you're operating one out with one horse and you're taking on some of the biggest stables in world racing that have got hundreds of horses at their disposal. It makes the story all that more special and very, very unique. You're operating with literally one bullet in the gun. They've got lots and lots, but your bullet's still very, very effective.
Look, it is, and and I suppose that's the beauty of racing. It sort of gives everyone a chance, and I suppose I'm sort of living proof for everyone out there that's that toils away in this caper. That dreams can come true. So. No, we're living a bit of a fairy tale at the moment.
What about the backstory for all of our listeners going through WA? How did you get hold of the mare and to get her to this point?
Oh, look, it's a bit of an amazing story. She was bred by Rick Jamieson at Gilgai Farm here in Victoria, at Nagambie, of Black Caviar
Fame,
the breeder and Fame, and she wasn't deemed suitable as a commercial prospect from a sales point of view. So she never went through the sales ring. She was actually just in the paddock, and I went up and had a look at her and brought her out of the paddock as a baby, and brought her home. And it's been a long journey. She early on she had an issue which took a little while to sort of get to the bottom of, which ended up that she had a stress fracture in her shoulder, and the only way that was sort of picked up was I had one of those nuclear scintigraphies done on her, because no one was sort of able to sort of pick up what the issue was, and that was the situation. So that took a bit of rehab and nursing her back for a period of time. So she didn't sort of start racing until sort of later on in her 4-year-old years. So so she's just been a revelation really since she's hit the track. She won her first start at my home track at Pakenham. They have a very rich maiden series race series over here, the Future Star series, and it was a $75,000 maiden race. I thought, well, you can only win a maiden once, so we'll have a crack at a big one. First start, my first runner, and she saluted and got the money. Got into a final of that series, a $300,000 final, a few weeks later, and she ran a close second. And she's really been out of the money since. So she's been terrific.
Special, very, very special to you. And Kevin, you just touched on the fact that she had the problems with the shoulder and that she wasn't commercially viable. What on earth put the thought into your head that you're going to go and pick up this horse that's not commercially viable, that's got some issues physically, and make a go of it from a racing perspective? What was it? Was there something when you saw her that attracted you towards her? Where was the initial attraction, given the red flags that are effectively going off everywhere around? No, she's not at the sales. No, she's got some issues. Why did you say, I'm putting that to the side and still going to have a crack at it?
Well, I never, there was no sign of any of the of the issues in the shoulder, obviously, at that point in time. But she was a fairly sort of bit of a rogue filly, I think. She was not the easiest of horses to sort of deal with or handle, and that probably was one of the reasons why, she never went through the sales process. But it was, as far as I was concerned, it was love at first sight. When I went up to see her, and they brought in, I think, 4 or 5 other horses that had been out running in a large paddock with her, and they had them all in day yards, and I pulled up, and they were all got their heads over the yards as they do, and my eye just immediately just clapped onto her, and she just stood out from the moment I first saw her. I sort of got out of the car and sort of telling myself, look, Kevin, it won't be her, it'll be one of these other things here. And then when they said, they pointed her out and said, oh, this is the one, I had to sort of contain my own excitement to not give too much away when you're sort of buying something.
Yep.
Sort of, oh, yeah, that's the one, is it? Yeah, okay, let's have a look at her. And had a little bit of a look at her and bought her on the spot. So, that was, basically said love at first sight. So
Kevin, family affair as well. Obviously, you syndicated back through family and friends, and now $800,000 later. Where to next?
Yeah, well, we're not sure. We're just sort of enjoying and savouring the moment. But, we'll definitely pick something out at Flemington over Cup Week. She really loves Flemington. it's her favourite track and our favourite track. So, and some good options there over the carnival. So, which is a nice sort of 3 week break from now, and we'll work that out a little bit closer. But some good options there.
And Kevin, I heard the interview with Damien Lane post-race yesterday. What a wonderful result to have this young man aboard your horse as well on race day. He's got an enormous respect for the girl, and his comments basically when chatting to Charlotte post the race was a lot of respect for yourself, a lot of respect for the horse. He said, I want to get her back. I know that they've got a moment coming, these two together, and I don't want to hold it back any longer. So, to have that recognition from one of the world's best jockeys of the incredible relationship between yourself and your horse is pretty special. And what a fine young man he is, Frosty Lane, and a great man to be putting up aboard your girl going into these races.
Absolutely, what a great West Australian boy, man. So he's I just have to really pinch myself that and I rate him myself, and on the record of I'd say he's the best jockey in the world. With all due respect to a few others, he is outstanding, and what he's done for me and my family is just amazing. We've got a connection through his father-in-law was great friends with my father, he's just an absolute champion, and really I'm loath to ever send this horse around without him on her back from now on. We had a little bit of experiment to start back, and didn't go so well. So no, Damien is my number one, and which is making it a little bit tricky because he's got commitments in Japan on Derby Day, so he's not going to be at Flemington on that day. So that may make it a bit of an issue as to where we end up going with her next. So no, I hold him in the highest regard. I said to him, as I let him out yesterday, I said, I trust you implicitly, and there's no one else I do. And he just rode her so well yesterday.
Did he ever?
It was absolute, 10 out of 10. So no, he's a champ.
Kevin, wonderful to have this chat this morning, and all the best with your mare going forward.
Terrific. No worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Kevin. Daffy there. We're about to catch up with Bondi. Listen to this.
The next quarter, it's Minstrel in front. He's a Sport looks the Quinella. Mr. Smarty's out wider, battling on is Bricky's Dream, and then Long Reach Bay and Never Ending. But around the turn, Minstrel in front. He's a Sport runs to a clear second. Battling on Mr. Smarty, and then Never Ending running on. But in the straight, Minstrel clear over He's a Sport, Mr. Smarty, Long Reach Bay and Never Ending. And Minstrel in a bit of a procession in the end comes away to win it well from He's a Sport. Third was Mr. Smarty, Never Ending.
May have been a procession, but he is one of my favourites, Minstrel, and Greg Bond joins us right now to talk about that win on Friday night. G'day, Bondi.
Good morning, Marty. Shorty, how are we doing?
Going beautifully. Thank you, Bondi. Nice to be chatting to you this morning, and run into you through the week, and found out there was some nice horses going around, and Minstrel certainly fits the bill there, Bondi. A wonderful return there Friday night. He's a Sport. Nice finishing runner-up, but once Minstrel got to the top there and just shot the lights out late, and love the report from Denny post-race as well, saying just how good this horse felt.
I think Sky said he pulled up in beast mode. I wasn't there, but after the race, she said you sort of wouldn't have known he'd gone around, and as Denny said, he reeled off at 26.7, and she said he sort of did that, with a fair degree of comfort. So only pleasing news off that run moving forward for sure.
Oh yes, second up, and there was. Going into the race, I know he started $1.75. The punters found him on the day or on the night, but leading in, there was a lot of talk that, He's a Sport would, with the inside draw, be able to beat him. But, wow, that was impressive Friday night, Greg.
Yeah, look, I think there's probably enough evidence to suggest that we know He's a Sport, while being a very, very nice horse in his own right, he's probably a length or two off Minstrel. So it was prudent to probably if we found the front to probably hand up and see if we could sit on him. I thought there might have been a little bit more mid-race pressure. The lead time was for free-for-all company was solid, but it wasn't blistering. And then he was able to snag a 31.4, I think it was, first quarter, and sort of once that happens in that grade with those quality horses, it's pretty much game over, isn't it? You know,
big time, and obviously the perfect outcome for a night like that. You go to the races, and you know that there's some bigger races in store, but to be able to get the job done in such comfortable fashion, have a nice blowout, and yet get that fitness at the same time is probably just the perfect outcome.
Yeah, no, it is, Shorty. You're dead right. He's down the beach as we speak, just having his Sunday wade, and that seems to be we've sort of been attacking the beach with the better horses in the last probably 2 or 3 weeks now. The weather's turned a little bit, and we had a lot of we sort of had a lot of success this time last year with that approach, and he indicated on Friday night that he's well and truly on song, and the rest of obviously we'll head to the Pacing Cup with him, and we'll hand-pick his races moving forward. There's some nice lead-ups to the Pacing Cup as well, so we'll target those. But yeah, we've got sort of the Derby coming later on this month, and then the Nugget Series through this month into November, and then of course the Pacing Cup into December. So there's some good money races to target, that's for sure.
So what will be his next start?
Marty, I haven't got that far with this. With the, I mean, as you know, we've had the horse for a long time, so we don't need to race him week in, week out, because we have him exactly where we want him at home. I mean, that was his second up run, but he hadn't raced for 3 weeks before last Friday night. So with the system, a lot of the time you're just going to be sitting out in barrier 9, and we've probably got to manage the horse, so we probably bypass some of those and just try and hand pick his races and tick him over, and then have him hopefully cherry right for the lead ups to the Pacing Cup and of course the Pacing Cup itself.
I noted earlier on in the night as well some clever tactics and a well thought out plan going into the first race on the program. The news came through listening into the boys on Friday that you were going to roll to the top with When in Vegas, and it proved to be a winning manoeuvre.
Yeah, I had a bit of a theory on it, Shorty, without trying to sound like a smarty, but I just thought that how the race might pan out with Chase Me and the Breeze, and if we led. And I just thought Junior might back himself to get over us, and maybe there might not be quite as much pressure as you might normally get if you're a more fancied horse. And it's played out like that, and Jack gave him every hope in front, and got a little bit close near the wire there, but he had his head out in front, so that gives him a golden ticket into the Derby now. So that's our second golden ticket for the Derby. So that's quite pleasing, and hopefully we'll have him cherry ripe on the night.
What about the main event of the evening, the 4-year-old championship, and Just Call Me Mickey went down to Copycat Queen?
Yeah, we drew the inside of the back row, as you know, Marty. So we had a chat, and we decided not to try and be too fancy. We'll just follow through Copycat Queen as things pan out well and good. And look, I'm really happy with the horse because he's a very big horse. So probably doesn't really suit his racing pattern, having to be sat up. And he raced strongly, but when he got off the fence, I thought he's going to run a nice second here. But he found the line stronger for. I think Copycat Queen had clearly had enough on the line. If we'd got out 30 or 40 metres earlier, I'm pretty sure he would have been the victor. But all goes well. We've got the 4-year-old Classic coming up for 125, and then the Nugget the first Friday in November. So he's come back just as we hoped, and he's going to be a major player in those next two group races.
Really strong hand going into those, and you'd be delighted with the way things are ticking over. It's always nice when you've got these younger horses coming through to help add to the arsenal. You've got that top level sort of stuff with he's a sport minstrel there, but to have that next generation coming through, Bondi, is something that your stable has always been keeping an eye on to keep the wheels ticking over and the future of the stable looking healthy.
Yeah, you're dead right, Shorty. It's a challenge. You know, you've got to try and find them. And I mean, just call me Mickey. I bought him at a weanling sale in New Zealand for $20,000. You know, so that's a good story. There's some train wrecks too on the way through, but he's a good one. But yeah, just trying to. We've had a lot of success with the 3-year-olds over the year, and then them developing into good 4-year-olds, and then into good free-for-all. And Minstrel's a typical example of that. And it's hard to keep it happening. You just have to be diligent and work hard and try and get the shot selection right. Shorty, as you well know, therein lays the challenge.
Wow. Indeed. Now, that's a perfect segue into my next question. How are you going to handle the first day of the first test? Is it, just walk back across Matagarup Bridge into Gloucester Park? Is that the plan?
What to say, the first day, did you say, Marty?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I've missed out on the first day, but I'm looking very, very good for the second day. We might have found a little box up there, mate. So
perfect.
So...
Hasn't lost our numbers. He hasn't lost our numbers, Marty, has he?
No. There's as you can appreciate, they're jumping out of trees at the moment. Now they found out.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Now, without Cummings, if he doesn't play in the first test, and a long way out, but can the Aussies beat the Poms first up?
It's going to be interesting. Look. Cummings definitely not playing. My mail is you won't see him for the series. It definitely evens things up because he's always had that. I think Cummings has always been able to come on and get a wicket and not just one, but he gives you that bit of X factor that you're going to lose. And I was only talking to a few boys on Friday night that you know where we sit now. You wouldn't want Hazelwood or Stark, one of them to go down now either with an injury. So it leaves the Aussies a bit vulnerable. And there's no doubting the Poms batting. The challenge they got a heap of depth and their bowling's not too bad, but the challenge for them is to take 20 wickets. But I think it's pretty even personally. I had a look the other day at Australia at $1.60. I think England at $3.15, and probably wider than it should be for mine. But time will tell.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know history says it's been a while between England being able to come and get it done, but they've got a lot of batting depth, as you've touched on, and if you let them get a start, they can pile the runs on and make you have to chase your tail for the rest of the game. So it's going to be magnificent. Bondi, congratulations again. More success for the stable there on Friday. Plenty more to come as well. Thanks for joining us this morning on The Aftermath.
Yeah, good to talk, lads. Have a good day.
See you, Bondi.
The Aftermath, you are listening to Marty Young and David Shortte right here on Tab Radio Racing and Sport.
10 minutes away from 8 o'clock, 15.8 degrees in town at the moment, searching for a lovely day, 25 degrees. Shorty, what have you got on? Much today? Yes.
Very, very low-key day today in store, Marty. Be pretty quiet. Spend a bit of the day with the family, watch a bit of the racing that's on today. Bit of NBL I'll be watching today, Marty, as well. So I've really enjoyed that. The Adelaide 36ers copped a fair old whacking there. Bryce Cotton just did not get warm at all, and accordingly they were smashed by Sydney. And interesting, they just clearly set themselves for this particular fixture. And at no stage did they really warm up into it. Got 2 games from the NBL today. New Zealand $2, South East Melbourne $1.80. That line's 1.5, game total at 185.5. And then the later game, 1:30 tip-off. Melbourne United, their hot favourites, $1.16. Cairns $5.20. The line 11.5. Total points on that one 185.5. Stacks of markets up as well for the NFL with Tab Touch for the overnighter.
It was a big day for the young guns out there at Ascot.
There's a taste inside of those with Romantic Ruler running on. And further back behind them, Heskett at the 220. Lynchpin reaches the lead. Lynchpin got to the front. Wembanyama got a rails run. Lynchpin's the leader, but here's Wembanyama. Wembanyama flying right up along the rail. Grabbed the lead from Lynchpin. And Wembanyama with Pike just scraping.
Yeah, terrific win there for Wembanyama. And Mack, who was able to train his first Saturday winner. What a stage to do that on. Joins us right now. G'day, Mack, and congratulations.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Marty. Thanks, Shorty.
Yeah, well done to you, Mack. You would have been really enjoying that moment. Take us through the run itself. William, of course, scraping the Duluxes, as we heard there from Macker up in the box. It was a beautiful ride. Linchpin looked to be off and gone. What were you thinking with about 200 to go? Will he just stick fat and hope the horse could get over the top late?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you've got to put your faith in Pikey. That's why he's the best in the game. I mean, always trying to get him on, and to have him on board was a massive privilege the other day or yesterday. And I had full faith. I wanted him to get to the outside, but when he didn't, you got to sort of put your faith in him, and he did the right thing.
For a young man starting out in the caper, you're really blazing a trail at this stage, and of course you've picked this horse up offline, I would imagine. Dundeel horse, formerly trained by O'Shea and Tom Charlton. Tell us the backstory about getting him.
Oh, we've been battling away for sort of 3 years now, training a lot of tried horses and a lot of cheap ones. And I've got some great clients, but they sort of breed horses themselves, and we take horses to the bush, Gerald and Kalgoorlie, these sort of things. And it was good of my old man to sort of think we want to take the next step as a stable. And he said, let's bugger it, let's go and buy a nice horse. And we looked online and we looked for a few sales and we couldn't find nothing we liked. And then we went and found this one and paid a bit of money for him, and it's taken sort of 10 months to get him in the winner's circle, but he's placed at 5 out of 7 for us, so he hasn't run a bad one, and he's ended up being a good purchase.
Indeed, yeah, the win there yesterday, though, certainly helping to secure that. As you touched on, Mack, you've done a lot of training around. You've seen most of the racetracks here in WA at different stages, and I think along the way there, you've learned to place your horses incredibly well and knowing what sort of level they're at. That's something that obviously it takes a bit of time to work out, but it's an asset that you've really worked on, and it seems that you just have a great understanding of what sort of race best suits your different horses in the stable.
No, I appreciate that. I think that's sort of something I pride myself on, is being able to nominate and scratch until you can find the right race. And my owners are understanding that they're no superstars and they need to sort of find the right race to be competitive. And wherever we have to take them, we can do that. And if we place them in the right race, they're going to run a nice race and everyone's happy. You know? Got
a race picked out for Wembanyama?
Because he did nothing yesterday, he just went around the fence. He pulled up so good. So there is a graduation mile next week. We may think about throwing a nomination in on the backup. But if not, there's a 66 mile the week after. So there's a couple of options in the next couple of weeks.
Where's the next runner for the Mack Hall stable going to pop up?
I've got a couple of runners midweek next week. Nothing sort of note, but I think there's a horse that I think can make the grade. A horse called Cheryl Shout that will be running Wednesday week. She'll run midweek at Belmont, and her run first up was excellent, and I think she'll come on from that for sure.
Mack, you've been fantastic. It would have been such a good day for you out at Ascot yesterday. I'm sure there'll be some pretty big owners listening in. They'll be saying, maybe it's time I gave this young man one of my better horses to train and see what he can do with that. So hopefully you'll get that phone call soon.
No, I appreciate it. That's always the plan. We're trying to get clients into the stable and just improve every time.
Good on you, Mack.
Thank you.
Mack Hall, good young fella, and he's going places, Marty. Make no mistake about it. He's learned the hard way. He's had to continue to work really hard. Let's get to our final special guest on the Aftermath this morning. Speaking of a man that knows how to celebrate the big races, this man is one of them, Gary Nelson. He's had the team firing of late. Let's go to the replay of the feature final there at Mandurah on Friday night.
Racing. First away, Macaroni Manelli. Surf the Sun scorches down the outside to challenge. Third, Aston Nero. Then Unleashed Mayhem. Aston Costello, Fernando Fun, Fleetwood Kazak and Sunset Ali. Surf the Sun. 4 ahead of Aston Nero. Then Macaroni Manelli, Aston Costello, but Surf the Sun clear in the chase. And Surf the Sun 2 lengths over Aston Nero. Aston Costello,
Ryan Levitsky at his brilliant best up in the commentary box, and I'm sure one man that's loving listening back to that is our next special guest, Gary Nelson. Gazza, congratulations, Surf the Sun. You've done a mighty job with this sprinter. It just keeps turning up on a Friday night and winning over the 400. Well done to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Shorty. He's just he's actually grown a leg in the last couple of months for reasons that we just can't pinpoint. But it's good to be winning every Friday, and then to actually butter up in the final as well. You know, I've been beaten in the finals with him a few times this year, so it's good for him to finally get one.
Well, he's over the $100,000 in prize money now. After, you know, when you've got a dog that runs 400 metres, it's difficult to rack up that sort of money. But geez, just pure winning percentages. Fronts up week in, week out. Its last 10 starts, no further back than second in any of them. And some of that good form he's in's been rubbing off on the rest of the kennel. You've been having a hell of a run over the last couple of months.
Yeah, the rest of the team's going really good as well. You know, the old saying, got to make hay while the sun shines. You know, the team's going good, and, you know, 3 or 4 weeks' time, you know, we might be struggling for a winner. So you just got to keep on riding the wave and, live it up.
Yeah, make the most of it. You're pretty decent at celebrating the wins as they come along, but Marty and I both know that you're heavily invested in the thoroughbred world as well. You're a pretty lucky owner in that space. Who's the best galloper that you've got a share in at the moment? You were out there yesterday, opening day at Ascot. Did you enjoy the afternoon?
Yeah, I did. This morning's not too good, but the day yesterday was good. Actually, I've got a lot of shares in unraced horses at the moment, but I did take a small share in that Godolphin horse, Spacewalk, which has been getting bumped off the plane to come to WA for about the last 5 weeks, so hopefully he arrived this weekend. But, nothing in the horse world stands out at the moment. The dogs are going a lot better.
Shorty and I know Spacewalk very well, don't we, Shorty? It's got us a couple of times up the straight. Remember the day McDonald went left instead of right? Oh, Marty, let's not bring back those horror shows. This man's lucky, though, as a trainer and an owner, so maybe we can get some back on the way through. Gazza, really appreciate your time this morning. We'll see you out at a racetrack somewhere soon, but keep up this wonderful run with Surf the Sun. Credit to yourself and the greyhound. You like to keep it pretty low-key, but you deserve a lot of prop for the work that you're doing with this greyhound at the moment. Keep up the great work. We'll catch you very soon.
Yeah, no worries. Just a quick special mention to Jackie, obviously, and a young girl, Tasia Hodgson, who's been handling him for about the last 6 or 7 weeks. So I don't know whether that's why he's grown a leg, but special mention to those two. Good team effort. Good on you, Gaz. Have a great Sunday. Thanks, mate. There we have it. Gary Nelson doing a great job, as are you, Marty. Can't wait for racing, Remo. Look at young Lockie Taylor. Isn't he looking $1 million, a young man, ready to share, absolutely shred it up on racing. If it was TV. Look at Matty French. And Matty French, likewise. You're in for a big hour, listeners. Make sure you stay tuned right here on TAB Radio. Have a wonderful Sunday. Just before you go, Shorty, what about Jess Earnshaw, another winner on Friday night? Entertaining. Killing them. Absolutely. I'm delighted for Jesse as well. He's one of the most likeable people in the station here, Marty. So long may it continue for the young man. Thanks for coming in, Shorty. Cheers, Marty.